Hello, welcome to the next video of my LCS Summer 2022 preview. We're covering TSM in this one. A team that finished 9th in Summer, very disappointing. They went out on a limb with Kaidio and Shenyi in support and mid lane, and didn't work. Kaidio did not make the cut, and Shenyi is still with the team, but he had issues. Communication issues in addition to play style issues, and they went 5-13 as a result, finishing 9th place. Academy went 2-9-7, finishing 10th of 10 LCS teams. So you are struggling in more than one way. Now, when you look at this team, you have a veteran in Huni in top. Huni is probably on the latter stage of his career for sure. I don't know if he really even should stick around much longer. A 7.39 CS per minute is not that great. They did bring in Sol, formerly known as Anime Girl, I think, in Academy. And they played amateur last year, 7.32 CS per minute. So they didn't do all that well either against lower competition with lower level of team. Huni did, however, have 68% KP, so you do have to take that into account. His CS per minute could have been up probably quite a bit if he was more split push oriented. It's almost like a battle of two very different players. Huni at 60% and Sol at 48%. That is a big difference in terms of how often are you fighting versus how often are you on your own. So Sol should really have a CS per minute up and around 8 or better, because of being by themselves so often and not so caught up in fighting, whereas Huni at 68% is in more fights than, most top laners. 19% kill share, 21.4% gold share, very similar numbers to Sol, despite Sol getting into 20% less fights. Sol played 16 champions across 58 amateur games during spring. Huni played 10 and 18. Huni can play anything, but honestly, maybe he needs to tone it down and play the things that, are meta and are doing well, not go out of the box, because evidently he is not able to pull, a winning lane very often. By the way, news and notes, they brought in Maple for mid, because Kaidio's gone, and they brought in Mia for support because they wanted competition for Shenyi. And Viper formerly was the top laner on the Academy team, and like I said, they brought in Sol. Now, jungle, you have Spica. Spica is solid. Struggled with the rest of his team in spring. Not a surprise. 5.34 CS per minute, 76% KP. So very high KP. CS per minute, not where you'd like it to be. I'm sure if we bring down the KP a bit, his farm goes up. He's where he's supposed to be, at 5.5 and 70 or so KP. 22% kill share, 19% gold share. Got a lot of kills for the amount of gold he was getting. Played 8 champions in 18 games. Hyper, TSM utilized their Academy team for lock-in, the preseason tournament. So he had 4 games against LCS teams. 4.87 CS per minute, much lower than you want it to be. Hyper is not ready for, at least before the split, was not ready for the LCS. 68% KP, 32% kill share. He was the guy getting kills and making things happen, but his farm wasn't there, so only 18% gold in those 4 games. Now, mid lane. This is why I have them 5th. Maple is a very good player. He was very, very good in the PCS. Earned himself a graduation into the LPL this past split, and struggled with anyone's legend. I still don't think he's the problem, because Forge, they had to bring up another mid laner to back up Forge once more with Harder from their Academy team, Anyone's Legends Academy team. So evidently they're not too confident in Forge. Maple, I thought, did very well, given it was the LPL. 4 KDA, 841 CS per minute in the toughest league in the world. Now, when you say to yourself, okay, well, 841 still isn't at 8.5. Yes, when it comes to against when push comes to shove against other LPL mid laners, Maple is average at best. However, in the LCS, I wouldn't be surprised to see him really do very well. 841, could go up towards 70% KP. He was fighting and getting 8.41. We don't see those two numbers with our LCS mid laners all that often, let alone, you know, LPL. 26% kill share, 22% gold share. In those 10 games he played 7 champions, and he was a secondary carry. He did the job. Takeover played 9 games with the LCS team in spring, did well in lane, 923 CS per minute. That is very respectable. Actually, more than respectable, that's very good. He was a very, very good laner in his look with the LCS. Honestly, Maple brings this team up a level. I don't think TSM thought they would be in such a bad place. Because honestly, Takeover probably is ready, but if spring had went so poorly, I imagine they just go with Takeover and they ride it out in 6th or 7th place and say that's fine. But it was so bad in spring that they kind of pushed the issue with Maple. But Takeover is probably solid enough for an LCS look. 58% KP, which is lower than you'd like, but 923 CS per minute is much higher than normal. So even to offset those, we're probably looking at a high 8 CS per minute if you're getting into fights at a normal level. 17% kill share, which makes sense given the amount of kill participation, and 22% gold share. 6 champions in 9 games. I think Takeover is ready. I can't say that enough. Tactical 934 CS per minute. Average at best in my opinion. 80 carry. 259 CS per minute. 259 KDA. Obviously, this is probably the worst team he's ever played for. Iteration of a team he's ever played for. And in addition, he had multiple different supports. So you got to kind of take that into consideration. 69% KP is actually very high for an 80 carry. So maybe that is more 9.5 or higher if he's at or around 60% like your normal 80 carry. 36% kill share, 25% gold share. They fed him kills and gold when they could. 7 champions in 18 games. Behind him, you have Instinct. Instinct is not ready for the LCS. 877 CS per minute in Academy. 877 CS per minute in lock-in. I keep talking too fast. 68% KP in those 4 games. The same 4 games we saw Hyper play. He had the same amount of kills as Hyper and 23.3% gold share. So, still not ready, at least before the spring split for Academy. And given the Academy team's record, I doubt that got better. Mia comes from Latin America. Mia looked really good in Champions Queue. I feel like that has a lot to do with why he's on the team. And actually, people are going to say, oh, well, why isn't Shenyi starting? Shenyi's listed. Today, or yet last night, TSM said Mia is right now going to get a look with the LCS team after doing so well with Academy so far. And I expected Mia to eventually be able to be given an opportunity for a starting spot because he was solid on one of the better teams in Latin America during spring. Now, Astral Esports is completely torn down and went to the basement, but they were good in spring. He played 9 champions in 14 games, 65% KP. Shenyi, 66 KP in his 13 games of the LCS split, 1.8% KP. That is because Shenyi plays an LPL style, which is extremely aggressive. We'll see if he's toned that down or not, but his aggression, TSM just weren't ready for it. They couldn't keep up with it. I think the communication issues are a problem. We're a problem, not our problem still, but we're a problem. And, that was just kind of it. He just was kind of trying to put a circle peg in a square hole. Then you have Yersin behind him. Yersin did very well, I thought. 71% KP in 5 games. 1.82 KDA is not great, but I thought he did fine in the games he played. I would like to see him get a look with another LCS team. I think the issue, though, is he is an import. So if he's an import, the chances of giving a import in our Academy system a look is slim. There's no shock value to make money out of it. And at the same time, he might not be the same player he was. I believe he was a PCS support. So, I think TSM's going to be better than spring. I have them 5th. I think that they give me a better vibe than FlyQuest, Dignitas, and Golden Guardians do right now. I think Maple, will do very well in those matchups in mid. I think that the addition of Mia to be able to solidify the support role is the way to go, and hopefully Shenyi is taking the next step in case they go with him. I think this team is fine. Do I think that they're going to crack the top 4? I don't think so. I think they're like in that 5th spot. There are clearly the other 4 teams I haven't went over. TSM, in my opinion, and then like the next 5 teams, and then CLG. So, comment down below with your opinion on TSM. What do you think their summer will hold? What do you think of the move for Maple? Like the video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. If you missed my video earlier today, my 2 videos, I went over Mad Lions in the LEC, as well as did a recap of the games that took place in the LPL this morning, most notably JDG versus Top Esports, 2 teams that I have in my power rankings in the top 18. 2 teams that have been to Worlds in the last couple of years. So if you want a recap of that series, it's only probably 7 minutes long of the 15-minute video. Look at that. And then later tonight, I will have, or this afternoon, I will have a preview video for tomorrow's games, which will be of the LPL. There'll be win conditions, kind of just go over shortly what those series might hold. And then you can predict down in the comments who do you think is going to win. You get a point if you can predict the winner, and you get another point if you can predict whether it's a 2-0 or 2-1 win as a bonus point. And I'm going to have standings in there for people that participate. So hopefully you participate. Hopefully you subscribe. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. And thank you for watching.